This week's Torah portion, Ekev, is a continuation of last week. Moses is telling you what it's like to be a Jew in this world, what the rules are. God, as we know, didn't choose us because we're a great people. He chose us despite the fact that we are a stubborn people. He chose us because of an oath to the forefathers and because the people in the land of Israel simply are too evil to be here. So he put us here. And Moses tells us this week, he teaches us a lesson, a valuable lesson in Economics 101 or Israel Economics 101. He says, you know what? God has engineered the perfect place for a stubborn people like you. What does this place look like? Moses says the unbelievable. He says, this place isn't as good as Egypt. You can't believe it, right? The thing that we thought is not allowed to say, that mustn't be said, slanderous words of the land, Moses actually says, this land is not as good as Egypt. But what does he really mean? Siftei Chachamim, a 17th century commentator, says what he really means is that this land is perfectly suited for a stubborn people like you. How does it work? This land's curse is also its blessing. Egypt, what Moses was saying is that Egypt is better than Israel in the sense that there's always water. There are groves, they're flourishing, there's food, nothing's missing in Egypt. It works in an economy for a people that don't have the job or the role, the impossible role the Israelites have. Israel, however, is an unnatural system of divine providence. If we behave, if we're good boys and girls, God provides. We're bad, God takes away. It has nothing to do with geography, with geology. It's all got to do with how we behave one another, one with God, and then the land provides. Now let's hold for a moment. If I think of the prophecies the Bible has told us, that verses that were written thousands of years ago, regardless of if who wrote them or what, they all seem to be coming true except for this verse, supposedly. We're told that we're always going to be a small people, right? A verse is written thousands of years ago telling us the Israelites are always going to be a small people. Guess what? Demographically, cha-ching. We are told that we're going to be kicked out of the land if we are bad boys and girls, and the land will remain barren until we come back. In the Torah portion of the Chukotai, guess what? Cha-ching, happened. Until I reach this verse. The 21st century Jew asks himself, is Startup Nation really second to Egypt? Yeah, sure, they have the Nile, but what else, right? I mean, come on, 21st century, is this verse that Moses is saying still hold, that Israel really isn't as good as Egypt? We haven't even surpassed Egypt? Look at us, we're Startup Nation. Let's go back to the Siftei Chachamim. Let's go back to the main theme that Moses is telling us here. Yes, we have bypassed the water issue by creating a startup nation, desalination, being able to create your own water. But what Moses says is that Economy 101 for this land is that if you have startup nation, it is only because you must be doing something right. In the 21st century Israel, you know what, if we have a strong economy, it must mean that there's something good going on between us and our other Jewish brethren here or in the world, and between us and God. That's the only conclusion according to this week's Torah portion. And the worst thing we can do is butter up our ego and say it's only because of us. Tower of Babylon Part 2, that'll kick us out. We need to always remind ourselves that if we have Startup Nation, this verse still holds. Egypt, for some reason, is still this metaphor to a place that's always better, in the sense that Israel is a system of theological merit. Our relationship with God, our relationship with one another is what determines the economy of this land. Thoughts from our capital, Jerusalem, on the parasha of Ekev. Shabbat Shalom.